I'm Rami Gaffney, makeup artist and creator of Rami Beauty Therapy Cosmetics and author of Beauty Therapy, The Ultimate Guide to Looking and Feeling Great While Living with Cancer. Today we're going to show you some models who are either currently in treatment or are in the recovery process. And we're going to show you how to look your best using minimum makeup, maximum impact. Hi, so today I'm here with Sonali, who is currently undergoing treatment for breast cancer. What stage are you in, Sonali?
I finished 4 months of chemo, so I'm now undergoing radiation therapy. That's for 6.5 weeks, and I'm a week into it.
Wow, okay. So Sonali is a great example of someone who is currently in the middle of treatment. You've had hair loss, eyebrow loss during chemo, and that's going to start growing back soon. So I'm going to show today how to address certain issues. Sonali is a great example also of someone who is not a big makeup person. You certainly, I'm sure, don't want to start being someone using a lot of makeup while you're undergoing treatment. So I'm going to show you very minimum makeup, maximum impact to address the things that are bothering you. First thing we do is a little moisturizer. And with skincare, I find that especially when undergoing treatment, your skin changes so much from chemo, from radiation. Everyone is affected differently. It depends what kind of treatment you're receiving, what kind of chemo, and your genetic makeup. Everyone is different, so I find people have different reactions to treatment. Some people, your skin gets dry, some people get red, some people get oily. One of my side effects actually was that I had an unusually clear complexion while I was going through chemo. That was one of my silver linings. And I found that some products that never worked before worked really well while I was going through treatment. So it's important to keep an open mind and experiment a little bit to find out what works for you. We're going to do a little concealer around the eyes. And concealer around the eyes can really wake up your features and make you look much more well-rested. This has been one of my hero products I found when I was going through treatment because you really don't sleep well often due to medications or just having, you know, a lot on your mind while you're undergoing treatment. And I do concealer all around the entire eye area, lash line to brow bone too, because people are very dark on the inner rim of the eye by the tear ducts and above the eye as well. So it's very important to really apply concealer all around the whole eye. It just brings the eye forward and it acts as a base for any eye makeup you might wear. And then I'm going to do a little foundation just to even out your complexion a little bit. And this is a liquid powder, so it's very light. Okay, so we've perfected your complexion, made the spots a little less noticeable, although I like for the skin to still shine through. You could do a heavier application if you wanted to cover up the spots, but I think, again, you still want to look like you just have nice skin, not necessarily like you're wearing a heavy mask of makeup. So that's the first step, is perfecting the complexion. From here, we're just going to address your particular issues, which is eyebrow and lash loss, and basically just bring out your features. This is a very neutral shade, and you don't want to do a color as dark as black because that would look heavy and artificial. So you always want to sort of follow, you know, go lighter than your hair color when you're filling in your eyebrows. And then usually I tell people to brush this through, but because there's not a lot of hair for it to adhere to, we want to just fill it in, and then we're going to set it with a little bit of powder for insurance so that it stays put. We're going to set the concealer with a little powder while we're here. You can sort of see a little bit that it's filled in, but it looks like an eyebrow at least. It looks like great eyebrows. And for the lash line, a lot of people ask me about false lashes, which I think are great for an event if you're going out for one night and you just want to, you know, look a little bit extra glamorous and fill in your lash line. But for every day, I find that false lashes can be very cumbersome, and also when you're undergoing treatment, you're more susceptible to catching infection from the adhesive and so on. So I think it's best left for special occasions, and for every day, you want to just do an eyeliner along the lash line. And I'm going to use this pen. I usually, if someone has no lashes, I'll use a cake liner, which can look a little bit more dramatic. This is a little bit of a softer look, but I think that'll appeal to you. Close your eyes, please. And you apply it along the roots of your lash line. And if you're unsure about making a straight line, you can kind of smudge the line a little bit, because a smudged line doesn't have to look so perfect. This is a very subtle look to fill in the lash line above the eye. If I fill in the lash line on her lower lash line, I would use a lighter color, because if I use the same dark color, it would close up the eye and make it look small. And it's also much more of a made-up look to line the lower lash line. And since Somali prefers a more natural look, we're going to just do the upper lash line. And especially when you don't have lashes, or you don't have a lot of lashes, you really want a formula that's going to just glide on very easily, because it's going right on the skin. If you do have some eyelashes, even if you've just had partial lash loss, you can do a little bit of mascara to emphasize what's there, if you want to take a look.
Oh, that looks great.
Thank you.
I like it a lot.
Thank you. For the rest of the face, basically, you just want to look healthy and glowy. And we're going to do that by applying some blush called Alive to your eyes and cheeks. And this just gives like a very healthy glow. It's kind of a tawny color. With the blush brush, I sweep it right over the eyes also. This is, instead of eyeshadow, it's a great quick fix. Open. Great. So first, why don't we do a little quickie lipstick. I'm going to do this right from the tube. I usually do lipstick first and then pencil, because you get a softer line if you do the lip color first. This is a very kind of natural rose color, and I follow the natural lip line. Some people skip pencil, but pencil can just give you a much more defined look. And if you do the pencil after you do the lip color, they'll blend away together instead of leaving you with what I call ring around the lip. Great.
Lovely.
Thank you. Again, we've filled in your brows and your lashes, perfected your complexion, and we've played up your features very quickly and easily. The last thing is, if you wanted to amp up your look either for evening, or if you just are feeling like you need a little more of a boost during the day, you can add a little bit of highlighter. This is a face gloss. This color is called Shiksa. It's very light. I found that it really can wake up your look. Open, please. Let me see. Wow. It really does. And then you can highlight the cheeks with it as well. So you can see one side of Somali's face, the cheeks are highlighted, and the eye looks a little bit more awake because the shimmer is reflecting light, and it's a light color as well. So it just kind of wakes her up. As far as brow shaping, if you're in the state that Somali is in right now, where her brows are about to grow in, even if there are hairs that look like they're strays, it's very important to not shape them. It's very important to leave it alone, because as they grow in, the eyebrow hairs have a tendency to grow in where they feel like it, and it comes in stages. So the first hairs just came in, and they kind of look very sporadic. Another week or so, more hairs will come in, and I call those hairs B, and then eventually hairs C come in. And it can take a couple of months, really, 2 to 3 months, until it fully grows in. Sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little less, depending on the type of hair you have. But it's very important to leave the brows alone, let them continue growing in, so that you can go, when you do get a brow shaping, you're getting it done once the brows are fully grown in. Right. And I'm going to add a little bit of this highlighter to your lips also, just in the center of the lower lip. Voila.
Thank you. It looks excellent.
Thank you. And I think one of the important messages of the book, actually, is not just the physical. It's not about how you look or filling in the brow line or the lash line only. It's also about what I call inner beauty, which is basically feeling confident, having a positive attitude. And I think the exterior is meant to help you with the interior. They kind of go hand in hand. So when you do look like you more confident, you look good, you feel more confident, it's easier to face the world with a positive attitude. So I hope I've helped you do that today.
Thank you.
I'm here now with Suzanne Murphy, who is a breast cancer survivor. She's also one of the models in my book, Beauty Therapy. And so she did participate in the book, and some of my favorite pictures actually in the book are of Suzanne, because she looked so great, totally without makeup and without hair, and still looked really cute, and also just was really transformed when we did do hair and makeup. And if you do look in the book, you can see her as Marilyn Monroe. You can see pictures of Suzanne in the book on page 101 wearing the 2-minute makeup and her own wig that she had at the time, which you can see is similar to her own hair. And then the last of the color photos, here she is in what I call the bald bombshell, because she has no makeup on. She's currently right in the middle of chemo, I believe, and she still looked amazing. And then on the next page, in what was a very simple routine, we transformed her into Marilyn Monroe. And so today we're going to show you how we achieved those looks. First, we did a 2-minute routine, which on Suzanne was very simple. We had filled in her eyebrows, perfected the complexion, and again, basically played up your features very quickly and easily. We're going to start with a little concealer. And the key to remember is also, I'm showing you complete routines here today, but you can pick and choose whichever steps address whatever side effects you're dealing with or whatever issues you're dealing with. For example, you might just want to use some concealer around the eyes and maybe wherever you need on the face to perfect your complexion. If you have like a little blemish, like so, you know, just to even out your skin tone. And maybe that's enough for you. It's not about doing a full routine necessarily. You have to do what's within your comfort level and do steps that you know you'll embrace. That said, it's also very important to keep an open mind, because maybe you've never been a makeup person before, maybe you've worn a very heavy makeup routine in the past. This is a good time to reassess. And you know, you will probably find some routines and tips in this DVD and in the book that would you'll probably follow for the rest of your life, because anything that makes you look and feel better, you don't have to be in middle of treatment to appreciate. I think even once you're done with treatment, you'll want to look and feel your best, of course. I'm going to do a little powder. And a little liquid powder foundation. Okay, we've perfected Suzanne's complexion, if you want to take a look. And we used a little concealer, powder, and foundation. And now we're going to bring out her features. For your everyday, you know, quick makeup, we're going to just do a little bit of eyeliner. In the book, I actually, for that photo shoot, I had used the same color, but I used a cake liner, which can look a little more dramatic. For everyday, real life, this is fast and easy. Great. Very nice. So we've done a little bit of eyeliner. In the book, I actually, again, I used powder eyeshadows, but again, in the interest of speed and keeping it real, I'm going to use the other end of this, the Perfect Eye Wand, which is a shadow. And it's going to create the same effect as what you have on in the book, but it's just easier. You don't need brushes. You don't need to use a powder shadow. You can just draw it on, blend a little bit with your fingers, and go. And then we're going to add a little bit of mascara to the upper lashes. And I do mascara only on the upper lashes because I feel like every complaint I've ever heard about mascara is alleviated by not applying it to the lower lash line. And also putting it just on the upper lash line really lifts and opens up the eyes. And we're going to do a little bit of the Alive blush. A warm, glowy earth tone is also great when you have light eyes. The contrast with blue or green eyes really plays up the eye color. Some Reminisce lipstick. Blend your lips together. And again, we do lipstick first and then the pencil, because you get a softer line and you can see exactly where you need the pencil once the lip color is applied.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, just healthy and glowy.
Right.
And if you want to take a look at the camera. and show them. You know, we've basically perfected Suzanne's complexion and played up her eyes, her cheeks, her lips with minimum makeup for maximum impact. And now I want to show you how to become Marilyn Monroe. We have a section in the book also called How to Look Like a Star, which basically also illustrates how we got you to look like Marilyn Monroe. We added a little white highlighter, a rich lipstick, and we emphasized the eyeliner. And of course, blonded up your hair. So we're going to do that right now. During the break, I dyed and curled Suzanne's hair. No, I'm kidding. We basically slapped on the Marilyn Monroe blonde wig, and it was super easy. Basically, it's just like putting on a hat, and we just tucked her hair in underneath. We do offer in the book like step-by-steps to caring for a wig and how to select the proper color and so on. This one is obviously for theatrical effect. So now we're going to show you how to complete the Marilyn Monroe look. The first step is we're going to fill in the brows and make them a little more Marilyn-esque. She had very arched brows. So if you want to take a look at the camera, you can see with one, we've resurrected one of Marilyn's eyebrows. and I fill in with the Miracle Brow, and then it's key, whatever you put on your eyebrow, always to brush it through. And we're going to put a little powder over this also to take the edge off the color. And then we're going to emphasize the eyeliner. And I'm going to use a cake liner for this. Same shade, it's called Perfect. It's not brown, it's not black, it's a perfectly neutral mahogany color. Eyeliner is one of the simplest ways to create a glamorous look, glamorous effect. I always tell people you can skip eyeshadow if you want, but doing a little bit of liner on the upper lash line and mascara is a great way to like create a look. Very clean, very glamorous, and very instant. And then with Marilyn, I always think also like peaches and cream sort of complexion, you know, kind of fluffy. And so I'm going to add a little bit of pink blush to the apples of your cheeks. And to the eye as well. And we're going to darken your lipstick. We're going to do some Rami Red. I'm taking a richer lip color, for example, on top of your day lipstick. Can take your day look into evening. Emphasizing your eyeliner on your upper lash line is a great way to take your day look into evening in a very quick and easy way. Or even just adding a little bit of blush to your eyes and cheeks in a brighter color can take your day look into evening. Obviously, you don't have to do all of them at once, but you can choose one of these simple steps to change your look very quickly and easily. And we're going to line your lips with the redder lipstick. And here I'm going to build up the lip a little bit to look a little more Marilyn-esque. But I stay in what I call the realm of reality. And then last but not least, we added a lot of white highlighter. I'm going to use the white highlighter from the Cream Quad, but any, you know, you can do the Shixa Face Gloss, you can do any highlighter. And then I'm going to take the lip brush and add a little bit of the white highlighter to the center of your lower lip. Blend your lips together. And there's one last detail, the beauty mark. And there you have it, Norma Jean. And I think actually last time we did a little bit of eyeliner on the lower lash line, like very subtly.
Right.
And I'm going to show you how to add that just for kicks. You can use the same liner. This was just if we're going to be a little more authentic, if you want to show the audience. Hi, I'm here today with Sharon Blinn, who is the cover model on my book, Beauty Therapy, The Ultimate Guide to Looking and Feeling Great While Living with Cancer. Sharon is an ovarian cancer survivor, and as you know, I'm a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma survivor. We also have pictures in the book of Sharon wearing different wigs. These are all her on the same page here, wearing different wigs and slightly different makeup to illustrate the different personas and looks you can achieve with different hair and makeup while undergoing treatment. Sharon very proudly wears her head shaved and is the founder of baldisbeautiful.org. I think you look perfectly gorgeous as is with no makeup and shaved head, but we're going to illustrate for people out there who do want to see some makeup tricks and see the different effects they can achieve with different hair. This is just a mattifying lotion. Okay, it'll just keep you matte. When I was bald, anything I did to my face, I also did to my head. Whatever I did to clean my skin, I would do all the way up to the top. Same thing for moisturizer or bronzer. And in the book, we did a combination of the 2-minute and 5-minute makeup on Sharon. Basically, that's a little concealer and foundation to perfect her complexion. And then the 2-minute makeup involved a little bit of eyeliner, blush, and lip color. The 5-minute makeup combination adds the Miracle Brow to fill her eyebrows and some eyeliner on the lower lash line and I think a face gloss to highlight everything. Let's get started with a little concealerage. Again, we do concealer all around the entire eye, lash line to brow bone, to just bring the eye forward and act as a base for any eye makeup. And like all makeup, concealer is all about blending. If you want to take a look at the camera and just show them the difference between the two eyes, you can see one side with concealer and one side without. What a dramatic difference it makes. And we're going to set this with a little bit of powder so that it stays put. Now a little foundation. And I like to use my fingers to blend in the foundation. Some people like to use the sponge, but I find your fingers can be a great makeup tool because you always have them with you, and they kind of warm up the makeup and make it more blendable. Okay, now that we've perfected your complexion, we're going to just dive right in with the full makeover. We're going to start at the top of her face, her eyebrows, and work our way down. So we're going to fill in with a little bit of Miracle Brow. This is like a pomade. It's like a pencil and a powder melted in a gel base. I also have this in a pencil version, but I thought the Miracle Brow would look a little more dramatic on you. The more you brush the brow product through, the more natural the brow is going to look. And so right now you look like you've just got great eyebrows. And we're going to do a little bit of eyeliner. So we've done eyeliner on the upper lash line. And we're going to do a little bit of the neutral shadow on the crease of the eye to create a little bit of depth. I'm also going to use a powder shadow on you to emphasize, to create kind of a more dramatic look. But for a very quick, like part of the 2-minute makeup, this is really easy and fast. And we're going to do a little mascara on the upper lash line. You'll notice I wriggle the mascara wand back and forth a little bit. And that's to make sure that I'm coating the lash from every side. And it's a good way to get a very good coverage on your eyelashes with mascara. Okay, and then I want to do some Defining Moment eyeshadow on you. For people who do want to use a powder eyeshadow, this is a great color called Defining Moment. It's kind of a terracotta brown color. And I'm just doing a little bit of the shadow on the crease of the eye, on top of the shadow from the Perfect Eye Wand. And then we're going to line your lower lash line with this same color, which you'll notice is lighter than the eyeliner that she has on her upper lash line, which is kind of a mahogany color. Whenever I line the lower lash line, I always do it in a color that's lighter than what's on the upper lash line. So you can either do nothing on the lower lash line or use a color that's lighter. By using a lighter color, you're making sure the eye stays open and looks really nice and large. Using the same color eyeliner above and below on the upper and lower lash line closes up the eye and makes it look small. And after I finish the eyeliner, I always go over the under eye area with a little more concealer. And this cleans up any schmutz that might have fallen, any powder or shadow. And even if you didn't have any powder that falls on the lower eye, this just makes the eyes pop a little bit more. It sort of cleans up anything and highlights the under eye area. It's the same color concealer that I used at the beginning of the makeup application. And you just add a little bit more and blend it out, and it really makes the eyes kind of pop, and it gives it a very clean finish. And we're going to do a little blush over the eyes and cheeks. And with the blush brush, I'm going to sweep it right over the eyes. And this is going to blend in the shadow a little bit more and give a very glowy effect to the eye. This lipstick was so great on Sharon that I actually remember very specifically using this color called Bye-Bye. The Laugh Line lip pencil, which is kind of a nude pencil if you want a more subdued look. Or for a more dramatic effect, you can use the Pickup Line, which is kind of a chocolatey burgundy look, which gives a more dramatic effect. And I think I'd like to do that one today. Smile. Great. Voila. If you want to take a look at the camera. This is a very complete look on Sharon. And now you'll see with the same makeup on, we're going to rotate different wigs to show how the wig, the color, the style of the wig can completely change her look. So this is an example of using a wig that's the closest to your own hair color, style, texture. Again, if you want to play it safe, just wear a wig that's closest to your own hair. Or if you're feeling adventurous, there are other options available, which we're going to illustrate for you now. This is another option. You can see here she's got a little bit of a J-Lo thing going on, a little bit Latina. You know, we can bronze up her makeup maybe with, in fact, I think I will. And this is the face gloss for eyes, cheeks, and lips. And just put it on top of everything, or just instead of eyeshadow blush lipstick, you can finger this on in a pinch. We've warmed up everything with the Inner Glow face gloss by adding this bronzy face gloss to your eyes, cheeks, and lips with the long, dark, flowing hair. And last but not least, you know, you can also wear really fun wigs. And I just wanted to illustrate that you don't have to stick to your own hair color, your own hairstyle. You can really play and experiment. And I'm going to add a little Hot Flash lip gloss to this. Hi, I'm here with Stephanie today, and Stephanie is currently undergoing treatment. You're right in the right in the middle of it, halfway mark of chemotherapy for breast cancer. I see you have a wig on already, which is great. Looks terrific.
Thank you.
And I was actually, when I first met Stephanie, I said, "Oh, I see you lost your eyebrows," and she said, "No, it was always like that." So it just goes to show you the things you can learn from the book and the DVD can apply to your life, whether or not you're living with cancer. Actually, we are geared especially towards people going through treatment. But this is a great example of there's something here that you'd like to address that has nothing to do with the chemo.
Exactly.
So we're going to show you how to make the brows look their best as well. And you were saying you had some complexion issues from treatment.
I got a lot of blackheads from treatment, and it leaves terrible marks.
So
all around the chin and up around the hairline.
Okay, so one thing I'm going to advise you to do is use an SPF when you're out in the sun at all to prevent scarring, just until it clears up. And I'm going to show you how, in a very quick and easy way, we're going to use the Mochaccino Goddess Studio Stick. It's a foundation concealer stick, and you can use it everywhere. You can use it around the eyes. You can use it anywhere on the face to even out your complexion. And I'm going to draw it right on your eye first. And this actually does have an SPF 18 in it, which, you know, is good if you're trying to protect your skin from the sun. You might as well have it in your makeup too.
Right.
You can just spot check, right on the spot and blend it out. Or you can do it kind of all over, because this is, even though it's so pigmented, it is a light formula. So you can just draw it right on and just blend out.
Cool.
And you don't have to give it too much thought. You can, of course, make sure you're covering up the little spots that bother you.
Right.
And if you want to take a look at the camera, we've used one thing, the Studio Stick in Mochaccino Goddess, around the eyes and on the face to perfect your complexion, hide the little dark spots and acne scars. And now we're ready to play up her features very quickly and easily. I'm going to use the Perfect Eye Wand now as a brow filler, because your skin is darker, your hair is a little bit darker.
Right.
The Miracle Brow would work beautifully, but this will be a little bit more dramatic. Again, whatever you use on your eyebrow, you always want to brush it through. I want you to take a look at the camera so everyone can see the difference with one brow filled and one not filled. We're using a color that's called Perfect because it's not brown, it's not black. It's a perfectly neutral mahogany color. And black would be a little too harsh and a little bit too obvious looking. And brown would probably not be enough. It would probably look a little bit bland. We're going to do the other brow, and then I'll let you take a look.
That's nice.
Thank you. And you have nice big eyes, so you really want a full brow, to extend all the way to frame the entire eye.
Okay.
And it really makes a big difference on the face. Thanks. Now we're going to use the same thing that I used on your eyebrows. We're going to use as an eyeliner. Now Plum Loco, you can use this as a blush, you can use it as an eyeshadow, and you can use it wet as an eyeliner.
Wow.
For a quick fix during the day, just take a blush brush, apply it as a blush. Take a look. And now you can add a little lipstick and mascara and go. And we're going to do a little mascara on the upper lashes. For women, you can use, just a little black mascara to darken the lashes again, even if you're not really into lengthening them. Just to darken the color can really have a great impact on the eyes. And we're going to do a little bit of lip color. I know exactly which color I want to show you. It's a color called Wine, W-H-I-N-E. It looks very dark, but it's actually a very sheer plum color, also kind of like an orchid color. Lip pencil is optional depending on your lips. Your lips are actually very nice and full. So it's really something that you might opt to do for evening, maybe not necessarily for during the day.
Wow. That's nice.
Remember her?
She looks familiar.
All right. One of the quickest, easiest ways to take your day look into evening is to use a cream quad. These are shimmery, and you can add them to eyes,
Really
cheeks,
nice.
and lips. We're going to use the dark color on your lid. We're going to do a little bit of the white under the brow bone. You can add the white high up on the cheekbone also to give you that kind of dewy high lid effect and play up your bone structure. And then you can use the maroon color to add a little more color to your cheeks too. You can add also a more intense lip color, but in your case, I think the color you have on suits you so well that I'm just going to put some clear gloss on top of it, and clear gloss will just give it a whole different effect and make it look a lot more nighttime. Cool. Last but not least, you were asking me about false eyelashes. You've brought a few different styles here, which is great. I like this one. It's very Diana Ross, very glamorous. I try them on before I add any adhesive.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, just make sure that it's a good fit, because if you need to trim it, you don't want there to be adhesive or glue on the lash. You put it as close to the roots of your eyelashes as possible. And I'm just going to go over this with a little bit of liner. If she looked any better,
I'd be in trouble.
you'd be in trouble. So I'm going to show you our most minimal makeup, which is the 30-second makeup, which really I think is all you need because you really do look terrific already. So let's get started. The first step is a little concealer. all around the whole eye. This is also a moisturizing formula concealer that has vitamin A, C, E, K, and rose extract. And when you're using concealer for around the eyes, a moisturizing formula is really ideal because it doesn't get into the nooks and crannies of the skin. And if you want to take a look at the camera, you can see on Julia just one side with concealer and one side without, and already what a dramatic difference that makes. And then we could do a little foundation, but because your skin is so nice, I want to show a more minimal makeup routine. We're going to do just translucent powder. We're doing the powder first around the concealer, on top of the concealer, in other words, to set it. And then we're going to do the powder just all over the whole face. And it's completely translucent, so it's not going to alter the color of her complexion, but it'll just give her a nice matte finish and keep her from being shiny. And then we're going to fill in your brows using the Miracle Brow To Go pencil. One side is brown, the other side is very light blonde. Okay, and we're going to do, in your case, you have dark hair with blonde highlights, so I'm going to do a little bit of the brown first. Also because your brows are a little bit on the sparse side. And then we do the blonde on top of it to soften the color. And then the blending brush is right on the cap. You just brush through. Whatever you put on your eyebrows, you always want to brush it right through. So one brow filled with the Miracle Brow To Go pencil. Very neutral, very light, but it just makes the brows stand out a little bit more. And let's do the other one so that you match. Again, I'm doing the brown first, and then go right on top of it with the light end, the blonde end. So now we filled the brows, and we're going to do a little mascara just on the upper lash line. And you've got really nice long lashes, so a little mascara goes a long way. The good thing about doing concealer first is that if you do get makeup like we just got mascara on it, it wipes right away, which is really nice. And then we're going to do Hint of a Tint multiple stick on her eyes, cheeks, lips. Again, this is the 30-second makeover. We perfected her complexion, filled in her brows, did a little mascara, and now we're doing the Hint of a Tint stick on her eyes, cheeks, and lips. Just gives a very natural rosy flush of color. And being a mother of 4, I'm sure she doesn't have a lot of time. Am I right, Julia?
Right.
So if you want your makeup routine to be very quick and very easy, this is definitely the routine to go with. If I wasn't talking my way through it, it really does take like about 30 seconds to a minute. Smile. And I'm using the multiple stick like a giant tinted lip balm. And take a look at the camera. Now this is a very complete routine. She has her complexion perfected. The brows are made a little more dense, and we added one product to her eyes, cheeks, lips, and she's ready to go. Fast and easy.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And if you wanted to take this day look into evening in a simple step, you can add a face gloss. And this is also a multiple product. It's for eyes, cheeks, lips. You can use it by itself, or you can add it on top of the Hint of a Tint multiple stick. And this I call finger paint for your face. You just finger it onto your eyes, your cheeks, your lips, and go. And this color is called Sugar Glow. And then I'm going to use the lip brush to add a little bit to your lips, but you can also use your fingers. And it just adds like a really nice shimmer to the lip. If you want, you can add a lip pencil, but you don't really need one. And voila! They don't make grandmothers like they used to. Take a look.
Wow. Great. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Good raw material. So I'm here with Diane today, and Diane is actually, you were originally a client for a long time, long before you were diagnosed with breast cancer. And Dan was a client of mine, used to come see me like periodically, and one day called me up and said, "What's the name of that organization for young women with breast cancer?" And my heart kind of sank, and I was like, "Why?" You know. And she told me she had just been diagnosed, and you were actually misdiagnosed for about a year.
That's right.
Which happens to a lot of younger people. When you're under 40, for some reason, the medical community still feels that you can't get breast cancer, or you're not likely to get breast cancer, and many young women are misdiagnosed. So the message is, if you do find a lump or feel something is wrong, and the doctor says, "Oh, don't worry about it," as much as that's what you want to hear, you should worry about it anyway, and make sure to get a second opinion, because you don't want to end up with you know, a more serious case, you know, by letting it go and spread and so on. So you were actually lucky that a year later it was finally caught, and you did go through it a second time.
Exactly.
How long was it after you finished the first round?
About 5 years.
Oh, was it 5 years? Wow,
Yes.
it felt sooner to me. But 5 years later, you had a second bout with breast cancer. But because you were staying so on top of it and getting checkups, you caught it very early, and it wasn't as traumatic, I understand.
That's
right. You know, early prevention is the best cure, and I think it's very important to mention it. And as you can see, Diana's doing great. She was one of our models in the book, which in the book you actually were wearing the 5-minute makeup routine, which, if you guys want to see, here she is in a before and after shot at the bottom of the page. And I think it was a really dramatic makeover, because you came in kind of very au naturel, and you know, and just like a little bit of makeup, like a quick 5-minute routine, and she just looked so polished and beautiful. And so we want to show how we achieved that look today. We're going to start also with the Mochaccino Goddess stick, which is, again, one product that you can use around the eyes and on the rest of the face. I think at one point you had some discoloration issues, but I think it's cleared up.
It has cleared up. It still exists a little bit, but for the most part, it's cleared up. Yes.
Well, it's a great example for me to see also that, I mean, I've known Diane before, during, and after treatment, and it's very interesting to see how things do clear up. I think it's important to remember that.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, sometimes you're going through something and you're like, wow, I've got, you know, one side of my face is darker, or my forehead is darker than the rest of my face. And as much as you want to find a solution, and you can obviously find a quick, easy solution for it, I think it's really important to remember that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that it will pass.
Right.
We're just going to use the stick just around the face, just to even out your complexion a bit. And you can see I'm just drawing it on and blending with my fingers. And the beauty formula for me really starts with good skin. If your skin looks clear and even, playing up your features is the easy part. But, you know, having good skin is really half the battle. And if you don't have good skin, then faking good skin is half the battle. And then we're going to set this with a little bit of the Pure Radiance pressed powder, just so that everything stays put. And because you do have combination skin, it'll help keep you matte. Powder gives other makeup, like eyeshadow and blush, something to adhere to. And I'm doing a little bit extra so that as your oils come out, you'll have a little insurance.
Okay.
And you won't end up with, you won't look matte, but you won't look oily either.
Right. I tend to look really shiny.
Yep. Not anymore. Okay. And now we're going to do a little eyeliner on the upper lash line. I do it with a wet eyeliner brush. And as dark as your skin is and your hair is, you could use a black eyeliner. This one is kind of a brown-black color called Perfect. It's less severe looking, but it still has enough impact. So it's like an almost black color.
Oh, okay.
And you have a really nice doe eye, and doing a nice liner on the upper lash line really emphasizes that.
Yeah, it even has a softer feel than the liquid liner.
It's a very soft powder, so it looks softer and it feels softer. But it wears really, really well. Open? Great. That looks beautiful. And we're going to add a little mascara to your upper lash line. Now, Diane has really big eyes, and she could do a little bit of liner on the lower lash line to kind of close up the eye a little bit so it doesn't look, you know, she doesn't, in other words, she doesn't have to worry about making her eyes look small because they're so big that she could easily do whatever she wants with eye makeup, and it probably won't look bad because her big eyes will not be denied. And we're going to do the hint of a tint in a pot on your eyes and cheeks. This is also a multiple use product. You can use it on your eyes, your cheeks, your lips. It's a little brighter than the stick version. And it's sort of a cream gel, so it blends very easily. Now we could put this on your lips too, but I want to show you a richer lip color. Okay. I'm just going to adjust your eyeliner a little bit where I ran it over. And for lipstick, I want to do, this color is called All His Fault. It's from my No Regrets collection.
Love it.
And it's kind of a really great mauvey brown color. It's a great daytime color for you. And now, for someone with light skin, a very universal lip pencil would be something like a nude, spicy nude color. It's sort of like your own lip color. For someone with a darker complexion, a color like this is a very universal shade. It's sort of like a chocolate burgundy color. In my line, it's called Pickup Line. And for your coloring, this pencil would work with any lipstick, from a red to a plum to a very neutral brown. Against your skin tone, it's just a very universal shade that would work with anything. And when in doubt with makeup, it's always best to, if you're not sure what color to use, always reach for the neutrals, because neutrals are neutral. They work on anyone, and so they're always a safe bet. People also ask all the time about whether to wear warm or cool colors, and I say don't worry about warm or cool, worry about what looks good on you. Sometimes I mix warm and cool colors together, like I'll use a warm blush, like a terracotta or a light bronze color, and then I'll add a cool pink to the apples of the cheeks to blend them together. So in other words, don't be bogged down by marketing, just play and figure out what looks good on you personally. Take a look. I should show you how you look.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Nice. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And here's Diane with a very quick and easy makeup look. I'm here with Lisa Frank, who is a very dear friend, as well as my legal counsel. Lisa and I go way back, and I wanted to read a little part of the dedication from my book, in which I wrote, and to all the people brave enough to face the world when undergoing adversity, as well as the guardian angels who help them and make the world a better place. And I wanted to share that because Lisa has always been one of the guardian angels for me. You really have. You know, she really looks out for me, and she's been such a devoted friend and fan of the product line and such a supporter. And when I met Lisa, you were already a breast cancer survivor, and we sort of bonded over that we were both cancer survivors. And then just this past year, August, Lisa was diagnosed again with breast cancer, and had to go through the whole rigmarole again, if not more so. And we're going to show you on Lisa a couple of things. that have affected her while she's been undergoing. She went through chemo and radiation this summer, and has had several surgeries. And you look terrific, by the way. You know, so that's good. I mean, the hair is growing back, and I think that's just a matter of time. And the eyebrows are growing back, but we're going to show how to fill them in. The complexion, a little bit sallow. So I want to show you how to break up the sallowness in the complexion, and also how to do a little bit of contouring. You're not on any steroids or anything, are you?
No, I'm taking one medication, but it's not steroids.
Okay, because you don't look like you're on steroids, is why I'm asking. And some people, when they're on steroids, they do get that very swollen pancake face. I know I certainly had it towards the tail end of my treatment because I was taking prednisone during chemo. And on the tail end, it was very cumulative. I got very kind of pancake-faced, and my eyes became very like slits, you know, and my body felt very swollen. And so that's an issue that people always ask about, is how to contour, how to bring out the cheekbones. It's something I think we illustrate beautifully in the book, but I wanted to show it here on the DVD today too. So we're going to get started now doing Lisa's makeup routine. We're going to start with a little bit of concealer around the eyes, as always. That's always the first thing I do. Now I'm going to show you something I haven't done on anyone before, which you've seen me do steps like filling in people's eyebrows, doing the concealer, setting the concealer with powder, then doing the foundation, then doing eyebrows, then following the setting the concealer and the eyebrows again with a little translucent powder. But in reality, what I really do when I'm actually working as a makeup artist, or if I were doing it on myself, in order to save a few steps, I do the concealer first, which we've done, and then the Miracle Brow on the eyebrows if we're going to fill the eyebrows, and then set the whole thing with powder. Instead of doing step 1, then powder, step 2, then powder, just do it all at once. It's all about consolidating your routine. So instead of doing bronzer or foundation, now we're going to do the brows first, and then set the whole thing with powder. An important point during treatment, especially, or when you're just out of treatment, look for products that are hypoallergenic. You know, you want to make sure that something isn't too heavily fragranced so that you won't have a reaction to it. Mascara should always be replaced after 3 months after using it, even if you've only used it once. Once it's touched your eye and you put the wand back in the tube, after 3 months you should replace it because bacteria develops. Other products like foundation, lipstick, can last 2 to 3 years depending on the formulas and how and what temperature they're kept at. It's always best to keep things at room temperature. When something smells funky, that means it's spoiled and you should toss it. So now we're setting everything with a little translucent powder, and then we'll do the foundation, or actually I want to show bronzer on you first. And I use the bronzer to contour, to give a healthy glow. I found bronzer to be particularly fantastic while I was undergoing chemo, because I found each day I either looked a little pale, a little sallow. There was always just something going on with my complexion where I just didn't look healthy. And when I was going to work every day and I didn't want to look like I was going through chemo, I would use bronzer. This bronzer is made with lots of good ingredients, actually: green tea, green apple, sugar cane, citrus. So you always want to use things that have multiple use that are good, good for you. It really does give like a very healthy glow. I tend to wear this all the time myself, even though I'm 8 years out of treatment. It really does just make your skin look better, and just a little bronzer and a little concealer and you're like a whole new person. We're going to do a little foundation on top of the bronzer. If you want a more natural look, you can do just the bronzer. But just to perfect the skin a little bit, because we're going to be contouring and we want the makeup to show up. Okay, we've perfected the complexion. You look very glowy.
I never thought of putting the base over the bronzer.
Yeah, it really works. It just gives like, you still have the bronzed effect, but it's just, it looks a little more like it's coming from inside your skin. And we're going to do a little bit of the eyeliner on the upper lash line. And I'm going to do this over the entire eye, the shadow. A little bit of a smokier eye, instead of just doing it on the crease, which is a more subtle look. But I think with the shape of your eyes, this is a great look for you. Another thing with makeup that's really a good tip is that many people look at, when they're buying products, they look at the color in the packaging and they go, oh, like that's a pretty pink blush, without thinking, how is it going to look on my skin? It's more important how it looks on you than how it looks in the packaging. Now I'm lining Lisa's lower lash line with a lighter color than the liner on top. We're just cleaning up under the eyes. Another thing, there are all sorts of multiple products. This concealer is also an eye moisturizer. I've shown my multiple sticks, which can be used on eyes, cheeks, lips, face glosses that can be used on eyes, cheeks, and lips. The powder blush can be used over the eyes as an eyeshadow. So always look for things that are multi-purpose, because why not get more use out of one product? One thing I hadn't shown yet, but I want to show now, is my Whip Liquid Air Colors. These are liquid that dried to a powder, just like the foundation. It goes on as a liquid, you don't need a brush, and you just blend it with your finger, and it's very light feeling, and it gives a really natural look. It's like airbrushed makeup in a tube. It looks lavender, but it gives a very natural rosy flush of color to the skin. And you can even add it to the eyes. And we're going to do a little lip color. We'll keep it natural. This is the two lips, which is two lip products in one. There's the gloss here. It's sort of like a glossy lipstick, very conditioning and very not sticky, which people seem to really like. Also, a light shimmery color makes the lips look fuller. And the pencil is right in the cap, so it sort of takes the guesswork out of it. And now to contour. We're going to do two things to contour. One is to add a deeper color blush down here where you want to create some depth under the bone. You can also do this with like a tawny powder blush. But I find with sticks you can really sort of create the line that you want to create when you're contouring. So we've added color to create depth, and now we're going to add a highlighter to create a light effect. And that you do high up on the cheekbone. So it's all about light and shadow when you're contouring. So if Lisa were very round-faced, or if she were swollen from steroids, this technique of adding a darker color below and a highlighter above would really kind of create the illusion of a cheekbone. And there we have it. Take a look. And you can see as the light hits her cheekbones, turn your head a little bit slowly, like side to side, so the light can just play on your cheekbones and the other way as well. And you can see how her bone structure is emphasized by the highlighter and the color underneath it. And that's what contouring is about.
My name is Stacy Kramer, and I'm a social worker at Cancer Care. I've been working here for 4 years, and Cancer Care is a place for people who have cancer in their families to come to receive services such as counseling, education, workshops, and one of the services that we provide is workshops with Rami. Rami's been coming for as long as I've been here. I believe it's something that came about after his treatment. He comes pretty frequently, has seen countless clients here. Clients can't stop talking about how helpful it's been for them. Being able to just spend some time, being able to pay attention to their appearance at a time when usually the focus is on more negative things has been really helpful to them. They love it. They love the time with Rami. They love the tips that they've gotten from him. They love his makeup. I think that the reaction of anyone who's been to any of Rami's workshops has been really amazing. I've had clients come up to me and tell me that after coming to see him and getting makeup tips from him, they felt better able to go to work, to go and see friends, to do the things that they maybe had been staying home and shying away from because they were embarrassed about how they looked. So they've really been very grateful for the tips that they've gotten and being able to feel a little bit more like themselves. Some have even said they feel better than they usually do. Cancer Care is all about helping people cope through the entire trajectory of a cancer diagnosis, from the first initial words, you have cancer, through treatment, through whatever comes after treatment. And so we provide all kinds of support services, information, education, referrals to anything that we can't do here. I think since Rami's come on board and been doing his workshops here, there have been a number of other classes that probably have come about in connection to it, paying more attention to the whole person, not just learning about what cancer is and what chemotherapy means and radiation means, but about how you can take care of your whole body and spirit, as well as just the basics. He has been an inspiration to our clients in living with cancer in a positive way. People can't stop talking about the joy that comes out of him when you speak with him, and they think that that's really inspiring, and that's something that some of them walk out of the workshop saying they want to one day be. They want to maybe be that right now if they can. I've heard a lot from clients who have come and taken Rami's workshop, and that they were at the time coping with treatment, the side effects at that point, and it was incredibly helpful to them. But as they finish treatment, often a lot of their other supports drop off. People stop paying attention to them, but Rami's techniques are something that they can continue, and it can be a constant in their life, so it's been really helpful to them. People who take Rami's workshop are definitely more responsive to him. They feel like he really has a unique understanding of what they're telling him their problems are. It's that firsthand experience that helps him really be able to relate to them and really be able to pay attention to all of their needs. I would encourage people to learn more about cancer and about the screening and diagnostic techniques, and information about that can be found on Cancer Care's website. Our website is www.cancercare.org.
Thank you for watching this DVD. I hope it helps you or someone near and dear to you who's currently undergoing treatment or coming out of treatment. I started teaching a class here at Cancer Care, I believe, over 6 years ago, right after I came out of treatment myself. And as a makeup artist, I was very lucky. I knew what to do for the dark circles under my eyes, for the sallow complexion when I was undergoing chemotherapy. And I remember on my way to work one day thinking, I'm lucky I know what to do. What about the average person who is really at a loss about makeup to begin with, much less when a stranger is facing you in the mirror and you're undergoing treatment and you really don't know where to begin to address the physical side effects. And that's what gave me the idea first to teach a class at Cancer Care. Actually, the book idea came to me first, and I wrote the proposal while I was going through treatment. And then started teaching the class at Cancer Care, which only reinforced what I already knew, which is that people, when they look better, they feel better. And the most important thing is a positive attitude, and how you look affects your attitude, and that's why it's so important. So I hope you got something out of this book, and I hope you use the tips and the tricks you've seen here for many years to come. Be well.